Welcome to the Divalution, a show to empower, enlighten, and entertain divas and those that love us.
I need to redo that again. So welcome to the Divalution show on this beautiful Tuesday evening. It is so nice to have nice weather, isn't it? Awesome. Isn't it nice? Oh, I so appreciate it. Love it. It wasn't that bad of a winter. It really wasn't that cold. We didn't have a lot of snow, but it just went on and on and on.
We kind of missed spring, and now it's summer.
Yeah. Although it was a pretty nice spring because the tulips lasted a long time. That's how I judge my spring. And we didn't have real windy like last year. Yeah. I remember, although it was really windy, but not like it was last year. It was windy for longer. Out where I live, people had shingles mishing off their roofs.
Mishing in Michigan.
Yes, I'm mishing in Michigan. So this evening, I have some people with me that I like being around very much, and I'm so glad they're here. One is Diva Danielle, who came into my life like it was weird how we met. We met at Girls on the Run. She's a teacher at Auburn Elementary, and that's where we met. And we got along good there. We laughed and stuff. And then one day we had a celebration. It was our first year anniversary of the Divalution show. And my friend kept telling me, oh, you're going to love this girl. Her name's Danielle. And I never thought anything about it. And who walks in? Danielle. And it was like, yay, I do love her. So we've been friends ever since. So that was 4 years ago. Wow, that went pretty fast, didn't it?
We love to say Diva Deb and Diva Danielle.
Yeah.
Get us together.
That's what she calls me at Girls on the Run, too, Diva Deb. And because I've been coaching with her for so long, she knows which segments I like to teach. And I appreciate that so much because they're the ones that mean the most to me.
And the girls love Diva Deb. And
I love the girls. It's because I was never around girls other than my sister and my cousins. I had boys, which leads me into the next thing that we're going to talk about. Yeah. So our subject this evening is going to be boys and dads, and Jeanette Dinan, who is our sponsor spotlight this evening, is also the host of the show that was just on right before this called About Those Oils. It's on first and third Tuesday of every month at noon. And Jeanette Dinan, welcome to the Divalution show.
Thank you.
It's your first time here, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So this is it'll be a lot different for you being a guest than running your own show.
Yeah.
Danielle used to have a show on the network, too.
Okay.
That was awesome.
It was called 1 Month at a Time, and we've continued that on, but it's not the same without you.
Aww.
It's me now, and it's not the same. But it's still a good show, and you started it. It was your idea, and
I might have to take that back up.
And that's fine. It's just sitting there waiting for you, anytime. Any end of the month you want to come and record the next one, you just let me know.
All right.
Okay, but luckily I have some good ideas for it because Holly does the angel show and angel cards. And she did a reading for the whole year at the beginning of the year. And I wrote down what she said about every month. And so that's kind of been my inspiration.
Cool.
Except for, seasonally, I'll do a thing about change. But I loved it when you did it. It was fun. So tonight we're talking about boys and dads. And the reason I chose those subjects is because there was nothing that I liked talking about that was special today that happened. And it was Albino Day. So, that we would run out of things to talk about very soon.
Of course.
And so I thought, well, we all raised boys, are raising boys, and we all had dads. So it's all subjects that we know about. And we all have husbands, and it's almost Father's Day. So, should we start with the dads or the boys?
Boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boys.
Okay, good. So I'm going to ask you questions, and you guys will answer them, okay?
Cool.
And if you have your answer ready right away, raise your hand, and that's who will go first.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm a kindergarten teacher, so I'm all
yeah.
about raising hands.
So, we live in a different climate now than when our husbands were young men, boys being raised. My first question is, what are you doing differently than their moms in raising your boys? Go ahead, Jeanette.
Well, we do a lot with our son all the time. So, my mom did stuff with my brothers, but just he's always included in like a lot of things that we do. We take him a lot of places, and I don't know. We just do a lot with him. So it's like there's more involvement, I guess.
More interaction.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I guess because, I had brothers and sisters, and then he's an only child, my son. So he's always involved in everything we do, which is, he has fun, and sometimes he's bored with mom and dad.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
But that's okay. Errol was an only child for 7 years. Mike is 7 years younger than him. Or is he 6 and my sister? I get that confused. But anyway, he was the same way. He went everywhere with us.
Cool.
Both of them actually went everywhere with us. And that's true. Babysitters were a lot more common back then than now. We do take our kids more places.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's interesting. I would have never thought of that. That's a really good point. Okay, Danielle.
Yeah, the first thing I thought of is the role in a lot of homes has changed. And my husband grew up in a house where he was very taught how to cook and how to do things like that, where my mom showed her love by doing all those things for me. So my boys are growing up in a house where they see daddy doing a lot of the stuff around the house, and mommy is on the floor playing, Sorry and Candyland while daddy's doing different, you know what I mean? And so I show my love very differently than how I grew up. And so I'm like planning the trip and doing this stuff. And Mark's he loves doing the background stuff. And that's very different than how I was. It's different. And I love it. And I think it's cool because I have boys that I'm able to do that. Like usually that's a dad thing. And it's just, I love that our family is different than most, and I embrace it.
And someday their wives and girlfriends are going to thank you.
Yes, you got that right. Because my boys love to cook with daddy, but they also love to just tumble on the floor with mama and play.
And that's one thing. When I was growing up, we had all my aunts and uncles and everybody around us all the time, and so I cooked when we were catering, and they taught me, all my aunts taught me how to cook, and each aunt had a special thing that they made, and we all had to learn how to make that special thing. But Mikey was in the kitchen with me from the time he was 3 years old.
And look at what he does now.
Yeah, and he's a chef.
Oh, that's cool.
And Errol painted with me. We would stay up late at night, and just one night a week I would let him stay up late, and on a Friday or a Saturday. And he's an artist. So it's very interesting to see. And I was a single mom for a long time, so both those boys had to really pitch in and do things that my cousins never had to clean or cook or anything. They had to take out the garbage and mow the lawn. Yeah. And my boys had to do both. Yeah. They had to cook, clean, and do the yard work. But we did it together. Yep. And both of their girlfriends have thanked me several times. Yes. And they did their own laundry from the time that they were old enough, and I taught them both how to iron. And Mikey, is it Mikey's girlfriend? I think Christine thanked me once for teaching him all those things. Yes. Because he pitches right in and does it.
That's awesome.
So that's important. So, what do you think has been the hardest thing about raising a son?
Oh, wow.
Do I see hands?
And now there's no hands. No, okay, I'll go. I think the hardest part is not having daughters because, I'm looking at it from that point of seeing my other friends who will, go shopping or go to the, the little dance recitals, or it's I love everything about, but every once in a while I'm like, is Mark going to regret that he didn't get to walk someone down the aisle? You know what I mean? And every time I start to feel like sorry for myself because what I have is what I have, someone will say, hey, I've got this extra ticket to this dance recital. Do you want to go? And I'm like, I am so there. Or, you know, I had this one friend that was taking her daughter to go see the Beauty and the Beast movie. And she's like, hey, I'm going girls night. And it's like I instantly I've like made it known that I struggle with that. And so I have all this like
Nice.
group of people now that are like, hey, come on, you know, come do this. And so it's hard sometimes, especially if I see pictures posted. I'm like, oh, I'll never
Look
get
how
to
cute
do
those
this.
little dresses
Or even when you go
are.
shopping,
Right.
when you look at the boys' clothes in a store compared to the girls' clothes, and it's like this little section, and the girls take over the entire.
Yes.
You're like, oh, I guess I'll get trucks, trains, or camo.
That's right. But you know, the cool thing is your boys are going to respect their wives' girl time
Yes.
because of that. So that's another really important lesson that they're learning.
Yes, and all I have to say is, Mama needs the girls' night out. Mama needs to go, and they just okay, and then, like they
See,
think
they
that's
get
normal.
it. Yeah.
So-
I love that. That's a really good thing. And your husband gets it too.
Oh, yeah.
So that's really nice too. Enough testosterone. Yes. Yes. Yeah, we had boy dogs and boy cats and Stacy, who just walked in, has a boy.
Oh,
Yeah, named Ashton, so she can relate to all this. So what about you? What has been? But you grew up with brothers too. Did you have brothers?
I had a sister.
So
Yeah, I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters, and so I have nieces, and I'm around girls too.
see.
But when my little Zachary was a baby, and I can relate about the little girl clothes, but then he dressed super cute, and he was one of the cutest little dressers, because I would get the matching hat and matching little sweater and matching socks and cool shoes, and but now he's really into snakes. Well, actually not just snakes, but all of his life he's really into nature, and so that was kind of something that I don't really like spiders. And he wanted to keep them in a container in his bedroom. I'm like, oh my gosh. And
This has really happened.
and we had a lizard, and at one time, and that got lost. And he's like, I don't know
in the
where,
house?
Yeah, he's like, I don't know where it went, Mom. And his cousins were over, and it was missing for a while, and then it was like a few days or like a week later, and I was walking up our stairs, and I'm like, out of the corner of my eye, I see this lizard. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, we don't need this in the house. But,
No.
I let him, and because he really was into that, and we got the cage and the lighting for it and everything, and he loved that. But now we just he found a snake, a big garter snake, and we live in the country, and so he wants it, and he wants to keep it. I'm like, I really don't want you keeping that. And he's going to be 16 pretty soon. I'm like, wait till you're 18, maybe you'll want to move out and get a snake.
Then you can have a snake, right?
But,
Right. That's funny. That and that is hard. Boys like different things than girls,
yeah.
and as they grow up, they will like weird things. Like I remember when my son wanted a tattoo.
Oh.
And I told him to wait till he was 18, and he waited till he was 19 or 20. He was out of the house for a while at college. And he came down the steps and said, well, Mom, I got a tattoo, and I was afraid to look.
Oh, yeah.
But it was, and I always told him about my dad had a tattoo on his arm, and he regretted that tattoo.
Gotcha.
And so Errol had 3 stars right on his collarbone so that no one would see if he didn't want them
If
to.
they didn't want
Now he has more, but now he lives in L.A. Everybody has tattoos in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
So what would be one thing that you would be afraid for your son to come home with?
Well, I would never want him to get like those like big holes in his ears. I don't even know what the gauging I think
Yes.
it's called. I'm like, oh no, and he wouldn't. Right now he's saying, oh Mom, no, never. So I hope he always thinks that way. Yeah. Like that's.
I always wondered what men that have that and what kind of jobs they have. Don't you?